Hello, my name is Danny. This is my wife Dixie. We've been members of Atlee for 6+ years.
We have 4 teenagers, 2 girls and 2 boys, and ranges from 14 to 20. We have 3 dogs and a cat. Life at our house is fast, upbeat. It's always busy. We always have somewhere to go, something to do. The jobs keep us, we go to work for 8 hours and come home. And by the time I get dinner and the kids settled, it's time for me to relax and go to bed.
I'd say blessed. It really is. Like she says, we have a crazy household. There's always something going on. I'm sure people in the audience has got teenage kids. Y'all know how it is. But, at the end of the day, when you lay your head on the pillow at nighttime, you think about your wife and your kids, and you can't help but to smile about it. It's one of those things that just couldn't imagine it being any better. I guess probably the highlight of our life is probably right now.
Yeah.
I mean, we're probably living in we are living in some of the best times we've ever had, which we've been extremely blessed. Remember some of the downfalls is I remember losing a job after 21 years and being the only income at the house. That was something hard to swallow. I've always been a prideful man. I couldn't come to the church and say, hey, can I borrow $10 for gas? I've never been that type of person. And so it was extremely hard on me, it really was. And I know it had to be hard on her and the kids. I remember throughout those times that we had times that we couldn't pay a house payment. We couldn't we couldn't even pay the light bill.
Yeah.
I remember getting foreclosure notices on the house, getting warning letters from a power company.
A choice between groceries or electric.
Yeah.
Or car payment, house payment, because we needed a car for him to get back and forth to work, but we needed a house to live in.
It felt like it was no hope. It really did.
I felt alone. Wow. Like there was no way out. There was no light at the end of the tunnel. There was no door that would be opened. 4 kids. I was like, how am I going to clothe and feed them? Where are we going to get this from? And then he lost his job, and the only thing I could think of was come home and we will figure this out together. And he came home and we both sat down and we said, all right, what's our next move? And that day was the day that I said, God needs to be center of this. Everything, no matter what. And the day that, I think it was 2 days later, 3 days later, he got a phone call. Hey, we got a truck open. You want to come drop truck for us? And I was like, all right, I hear you, I got it. Then I think it was a week after that, I got a phone call. Hey, we have a job opening at this auction house. Why don't you come be a photographer? I said, all right, you're here. I know you're here. I can feel you move. So it was hard. It was lonely, but I had him to lean on. So, and I knew I had God no matter what.
I had to get to the point in my life where I said, all right, something's got to change. Mm-hmm. There's got to be something more. Between all the bill problems, loss of a parent, and loss of both her parents, is that's when you got nowhere to look but up, and that's where he got me at, and like I said, going back over the years, you look at it and it was horrible times, but it's a situation where I'd gladly do it. If I knew I'd be where I am right now today, and all I had to do was walk through that valley, I'd do it.
I'd do it. Hands down. That valley taught us so much.
It really did.
So much.
And I remember we always had saved a little bit of money. And because of that reason, that's the only thing that really got us through those times. When I lost my job, I was able to cash in an IRA that we've been saving for years and pay off some things. You know what I mean? So that we could justify having a smaller income and still try to make ends meet. You know, so that's definitely a good thing to do. I know I shared with my men's group just last week. One of the guys in there has been struggling with the whole tithing thing. Where we talked a little bit about tithing, and I shared with him. I remember shortly after we went through all that, we just had got all of our bills before we actually pay them, and we were struggling with it ourselves. You know, should we do this or should we not? And I remember.
I remember that Sunday.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting ready to say.
I looked at you
Yep.
and I said, I have $75. It's grocery or tithing. What are we going to do? And
we wound up doing it.
We gave it to the church. And
we didn't have grocery money. We had just enough money to put. We had basically one car.
Yeah.
And we had just enough money to put gas in that car to get me back and forth to work that week, you know. And we said, you know what, we're going to do it. And we actually, we had to go pick our kids up in the Stanton. They were in Stanton at the time, and we had to go pick them up. And I've always, my whole entire life, I've always parked at the end of the parking lot. Yeah, even if I had junky vehicles, because I don't want nobody scratching them up and tearing them up, you know. But we had parked at the end of the parking lot, and she had got out the car, and there was a card laying on the ground.
It was a Walmart gift card. It was a Walmart gift card.
And it was no other cars around, nothing else around. I was like, man, ain't that something, you know? And I figured it was something, you know, somebody done threw on the ground, you know, they'd already used it and just threw it on the ground or something. She happened to pick it up, and she called the number on the back of it, and that was the very the same amount that we tied it that day.
So we had grocery money.
Yep. Okay. That's what I told the guy that I was talking to was struggling with it. I told him that I'm not going to sit here and tell you that if you give 10% of your salary to the Lord, that the next week He's going to give you that 10% back. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that, but I'm going to tell you that when you need it or you need something, whether it's money or somebody's going to be there to give you what you need, He will make it work. You know, amazingly enough, I remember we hadn't been long, bought a new pickup.
Yep.
And bought a camper, and this is years after all this had happened, but I remember sitting around campfire talking to some friends of ours, and he commented about that. He said, man, how are you doing that? He said, how are you buying a new pickup, buying a camper? He said, going camping and doing all this stuff for your family. He said, how are you affording to do that on your salary? Because he worked at the same place I did. I said, you know something? He said, I make less money now than I did when I worked at the other company. And the only thing I done different was put my faith in God. That's all I did different.
I can't wait to see what his next season is for us.
Hopefully it's another good one.
But I'm living this season and it's awesome.
Yeah. I had to say 10 years ago, if you'd asked me or if you'd have told me that we'd be where we are now, no. You know, it's awesome to see where we were, you know, to where we are now. And that difference started when we decided to take our faith in God.
Yep.